I think the most important thing to realize is not just the issue of different Chinese medicine in the West and the East, but also by time period. And it's very easy to say what was going on in the Han or the Tang, but no one knows. I mean, we have books. But more importantly, what I've come to realize is I arrived in China in 1986, and I spent 28 years there. And what I saw when I arrived in the 80s, and what was there in the 90s, and then in the 2000s, and now is very different. And what hasn't changed is acupuncture in the West has pretty much been in the same since I arrived in the 80s and understood it to now. The difference is how people perceive it. And what I didn't realize there were multiple kinds of medicine. Because I was 18, I broke the bones in my foot when I was riding a motorcycle in Taipei. And I had them set with Chinese medicine, and it was incredibly painful and incredibly fast. 2 weeks later, I was walking on what was broken metatarsals in my foot, in my right foot. So I only knew there was that medicine until I began to interface with other groups. People coming to China who needed a translator, working in the hospitals, and not just with the old doctors. And as I began to discover this difference, my mission, or the mission of our not-for-profit, began not to say what's right, what's wrong, what's better, what's worse, but there's something very different happening with these people. These people were educated prior to 1949, so prior to the arrival of communism, prior to the socialization of the medicine in the 1950s, which is a very big marker. So there were these people practicing a certain kind of Chinese medicine, and that medicine most likely reflects what had been happening for the 100 years prior to that. And what they were able to treat, willing to treat, and the skill set they had was very wide and deep. And where we are now is in a time where it's very shallow and very narrow. And so our focus as an organization, and myself as someone who went to learn and now teaches, is how do we make people aware that there is a different medicine out there? It is clinically focused. It is medically focused. It's broken bones and snake bites and autoimmune diseases, serious medicine, acute medicine, chronic medicine, skin rashes, burns, everything that comes in a door. And that this medicine, we should know it exists. It's what we offer. It's not necessarily better or worse, but not to think that acupuncture is any one thing. And that's a very big focus of our organization, is that don't forget, here are these people. They were very clinically skilled, and they were very broad in their depth, and we need to know this.